Good morning. Welcome to the first video in the new water feature we're going to put in the front yard. We had really torrential rains last night, so everything's really wet, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do today. You have to forgive the cars that go by and the sounds. We live on a fairly busy road, so I'll talk a little bit louder as they go by. But you've probably seen the walkthrough of the garden already. If not, be sure to take a look at that video. It gives a complete detail of both the front and back gardens that we have. This front yard has changed immensely since we purchased it. All the bricks I have done myself, all the beds I've done myself, everything. Built all this stuff, created all these areas. I don't really have a general plan when I start a project in the thing. I know what I want to do, and then I just work it till I get the result I want. So what I'm going to be working on next, where the water feature is going to go, is going to be in this general area right here. This is a series of beds that I put together a couple of years ago using a slightly larger stone brick. And as mentioned in the others, but I'll repeat it here, all of these bricks I've hand hammered, which means I got basically a regular straight brick, and all the little nibbled areas you see on the edges were done by me with a hammer. Oh, and the traffic's a little heavier right now because this is earlier in the morning and everybody's headed to work, so usually it's not. I mean, it is a busy street, but it's not this noisy, so I apologize for that. But here you can see the pile of the of the bits of the brick that I hammer off. That's my area that I do it because it's usually in shade all day. So, but anyway, this is what the beds look like. This is how it comes together. The reason I've made it look aged like this is because of the house is 130 years old, and I wanted to make it look like it was it's been around since the house was built. So that's why the beds look the way they look. So right here you can see we have some catmint. These two beds have been a bit of a problem. I think when I had the soil delivered, the soil wasn't particularly good. The first batch of soil, I've had a hard time getting anything to grow in either of them. So this year we added an extra course of bricks here, and I dug dirt out, and we brought in just good potting soil, bagged potting soil, and filled it up that I've used many times and has done great with the plants. And these are brand new coneflowers that we put in. This is going to be the backdrop for where the water feature is. So if you're wondering why I've been talking about all this, is so you can get an idea of what this area is going to look like. So the area we're dealing with is this curved front area right here. I'm going to come around here to the end. These were Shasta daisies that have already seen their blooms. There's the lamb's ear that we have huge lamb's ear beds throughout the property. It all came from only 4 plants originally. Now we have thousands of them. Well, anyway, this curved area right here with this wall is where the water feature is going to go. I'm going to be digging this out, putting a liner in, going around the liner with limestone pieces, filling in. I'm going to trim the catmint back just a little bit right there. And I'm going to be doing this and adding, when I cut the liner, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger on the right-hand side there where those lamb's ear are, which are all going to get transplanted. So that next season I can knock out one of those front bricks right here on the wall. And I'm going to put a waterfall in that will go down to this lower level, and I'm going to transplant a series of these lamb's ear, and I'm going to cut a channel right here and put a retention pond down here, a smaller pond right down here that'll be the return pond. So this is where this is going to go. It'll eventually be a 3-level waterfall event feature, because then when it gets over here to this wall, I'm going to cut some of this phlox back and put another pond down at the bottom, so that I'm going to come around to the front so you can see what this is going to look like. Okay, so you can see how it's going to start up there in that circular, come down through the lambs here, then eventually come down here. So today, what I'm going to do, hopefully, this rain that we've had has just been ridiculous. I'm not complaining because there's so many places in the country that have not had the rains that we've had. We've had so much, but everything is always a muddy mess, and all the plants get leveled. These lambs are usually standing straight up. All these areas are usually standing just perfectly straight up. So I'm going to get started with that, and I don't have a way of actually having the camera going while I'm doing the work, so all I'm going to do is get certain parts of it done, and then I'll come back and film what I've done and show you how I've done it, maybe walk through a little few of the steps. I did find a really good pump that is solar powered, and I've seen reviews of it, and people said it's wonderful, and this area gets such good sun in the afternoon that it should work perfectly. If it's not going the greatest in the morning, that's fine, and I don't need it on at night. So if it just works during the day, that'll be fantastic. It'll give me the effect I want for during the daytime for about the 8, 9, 10 hours of really good sunlight this area gets during the day. I don't really want to have to run electrical out here, so this is the option I went for. Well, anyway, I'm going to get to digging, and then when I've got that part done, the plants transplanted, I'll show you what I've done. Okay, quick little update. You can see I have transplanted all of the lamb's ear, and I have marked out a general area where the pond and the little slope is going to go for the waterfall. So next thing I'll do is get it dug, smoothed, compacted, because I've got to raise the edge all the way up around. And once I've done that, then I'll bring the line out and cut it to fit. So I'll do the digging, and then I'll show you what that looks like and get the compacting done. Once I have the digging and the compacting done and have all the levels right, then I'll show you where I'm at that point. Okay, next update. As you can see, the hole is dug for the first pond, and I have built the edges up all the way around to where when I put the limestone slabs down, it'll be pretty well level with the bricks. So next step is to put the black paper down and the black liner down and get the limestone. And of course I've had the level going the whole time to make sure it's going to be pretty level, and the water level will be good inside there so that I won't have water coming out one end or the other. So that's all you really have to do. So we're pretty much prepped to start doing cleanup and placing limestones to make it look good, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do about the water fountain later. So far I probably put maybe a half an hour's worth of work into this total project. So I'm going to get the liner now and get that cut and see. I've never done a liner before. I've usually used plastic basins. So this will be the first time I'm doing something like this, so we'll just kind of have to play it by ear and see how it goes. So anyway, that's next. Alright, so here's where we are right now. Get a little closer here. The liner's been cut, and I pulled some limestone from the backyard that I had in various other little spots, and it's been lined with the stone. The big one in the back is at a slight angle so that down this way so that the water will flow this way. All that's left is to put the pump in. I'm going to do that next. It's getting hot out here. I don't know how much longer I'm going to work on it today, maybe tomorrow finish up. But next thing to do is just put a little stone down there to keep the pump off the bottom, and run the hose for it. And like I said, this is a solar powered, so won't have to run any lines for it. And then fill it up. We'll test it with water this afternoon once I have good full sun for the solar panel. And I've got to trim the black liner back just a little bit more. You don't want it going that far back because that means every bit of rain is going to come into this. So I'll trim the liner back a little bit around where the limestones are. So I'm not sure what the next section of this will be. I don't know if the water bin it yet, but I'll update it in a little while. And this is the liner that I used. It's from Tetra, really thick, heavy gauge. I've got a lot left over to be able to do plenty of projects in the backyard. Update from yesterday. Last night we had a Derico, I guess is what it's called. We've been getting them pretty frequently, where it was just torrential rain and wind. So it filled the pond up. I wasn't quite ready for that to happen yet, but It did fill it up nicely, as you can see. And I finished this morning putting the limestone around it. And I have tested the slope on the upper rock. You can see where it's wet. It does a nice job of running down. I've got to go get some tubing for the pump because it's a little bit longer than what was provided. And then we're going to get some rock to surround all the rest of that and hide the dirt. So I will have an update for you tomorrow or later today when I get it done. And then I'll be posting this. So it came out nice. I'm really happy with how it looks. This is what it looks like when you pass by on the sidewalk. Looks really pretty good. Okay, so this is the next day. I finished this up yesterday, but it was too cloudy and the solar wasn't working. So it is now. As you can see, get a little closer in. There it is from there. It's flowing pretty good. That's about all that pump can do. It doesn't have a very high volume, so I have another solar one coming that pumps 8 times as much water. So I will be doing that. I'll be adding that to it probably this weekend. Then over here, right down here, so it'd be right where? It'd be right about here. This little rock right here. I'm going to take that out and I'm going to go ahead and do the stream and do the catch basin next week. So since I have the better pump coming. So I will be doing a second video showing that, but this one wraps this one up. Let me get over here. This is what it looks like from the sidewalk area. So it's just tucked in nicely, and once we get the waterfall in and it comes down, I transplant all of those lambs here that are right there. They look really great. So hope you enjoyed this one, and stay tuned for the next. All right, good morning. This is the beginning of the second stage of the pond. I'll probably be pausing this on and off. We got a lot of traffic this morning for some reason. I don't know if maybe people are detouring or something. But we're getting a lot of traffic noise today, so I'll pause this here and there. But anyway, this is part 2, so if you haven't seen part 1, watch it first. I'm going to show what we're going to be doing over here. So I'm going to pause this and we'll get over to the area. Okay, so as you can see, this is going to be the next area. I'll walk over here. With all that rain we had, you can see how dirty the upper part got. I'm going to drain it when I do this next section. I'm going to, and this all came from the rock around the edges here. I didn't quite get it rinsed well before putting it in place, but I'm going to re-rinse all of it and then drain the upper pond when I get the lower one put in. The lower one's going to go right, this brick's going to be taken out right here, and there'll be a lower pond down below. So first thing I have to do is I have to remove all of this lamb's ear that you see right here, because this is all going to be redone. This whole part of this bed is going to be redone. So I've got to remove all of this out to the front terrace. So I'll get that done, and then I'll be back to show you the opened up area. Okay, so you can see I've completely cleared this out. And again, I'm dealing with a lot of traffic, so there'll be a lot of start and stops. But I've got done what I'm going to do, so I'm going to go get some bricks that I've got left over from my project in the back, and start setting out the new basin right there and see how it looks. I may have to trim some more lamb's ear out, but I think I'm pretty good. So next step will be next time I come on, I should have the hole dug and everything kind of in place, and show you what I've got going. So as you can see, it's been cleared and the tub's been put in. I used a few bricks up at the front to level it because the downgrade was quite a bit. All I gotta do is remove that one brick, drop the stuff over. There's gonna be a channel that's gonna go over to dump water into here. Next step is gonna be to surround this with the rocks, the limestones. By the way, this basin is just a mortar tub for putting tile up that you can get at pretty much any hardware store for like $7-8 bucks. So it's a lot cheaper than buying the ones that are sold in the garden shops for ponds, because that'll be like 3-4 times the price of this. So it does a fantastic job. It's really thick. So anyway, so it's all leveled. Everything looks good. So I'm pretty happy with all that. So next step, I'll be putting rocks on, and I'll show you after that. I thought I'd do one last video here. This is going to show the completed project. Last I showed you was the tub buried in the ground. I've gotten all of the rocks surrounding it, waterfalls made, and I've had the system closed. I had to do a little repair work, but I had the system closed, and now there's nothing draining off. So here we go. So you can see all the rock around it. I've got to bury the hoses back there and the cables a little bit with some of the rocks and wood chips. And then down here we're going to put some low plants and some more rocks. But what you can see here is I used the bottom of a, let's see, that was the bottom of a trough planter to create that, and then we did the rocks. The hardest part I had was right here, was getting it sealed. From the upper to the lower. Wound up using a bunch of, not a bunch, just a little bit of Flex Seal tape. Stuff's fantastic. I've used it for a lot of projects over the years. It does wonderful for sealing up areas you don't want water in. And I was able to seal the edges and keep the water in the trough, which allows for a good sealed system. I've been keeping track back there with the cord to see how far it's gone down. I've lost maybe 1/8 of an inch of water in the past 6 hours, which, given that they said that evaporation in ponds can be anywhere from 1 to 3 inches a week, more if you've got waterfalls. So that would probably put it in line with just normal evaporation. So I'll probably wind up having to put a little bit of water in each day, and that's, like I said, all you have to do, because I've checked everywhere else and I don't have any areas that are losing water. And if there was, it'd be a lot more gone than this, because yesterday when I was testing the system before I fixed this area right here, half this water was gone in the lower pond within 2 hours. So this has been going for close to 6 hours today already, after I got it fixed this morning. So all you have to do is, if you got an external plug, is just plug your pump into it, and you'll be ready to go. So if you don't have an external one, you might have to run the cord, and you can get one of those outside. If you do have a plug, you can get one of those outside timers, plug it into it, just have it come on at a certain time and go off at a certain time. So this is a fun project to do, and total materials were probably under 150, but we'll break that down at the very end of the video. So here it is. I'll stand back and let you see it from a distance, but it is pretty much all done. The water flow is much better than it was now that we've got it as a larger pump and a constant flow instead of working off of solar. I was hoping to work off of solar, but it's just in this position right here underneath the tree, it just wasn't getting enough light, so I had to actually run the lines. So I will try something with total solar later. So I'm going to back up a little bit, and we'll take a look at it from the sidewalk. So here's what people see when they walk by. Now, when I said that it was only about 150 materials, that didn't count the walls. These were beds that I had planted before. If you have to do that, then maybe add another $50 on in total expense to what we have listed at the very end. So we put in a new coleus right here that we picked up the other day at the nursery. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the project. And like I said, it was cheap and easy to do. And we'll put up the numbers here right after I get done with with this.